So last time we have understood about the BC, their field properties, their BC properties. So all those things we have understood. Okay. Today we are going next level up. Okay, and we will be understanding the BO. Okay. So we might have come across this particular layer diagram. Okay. So where what we have covered till now is we have covered the data layer, and from business logic layer we have understood the BC and field. Okay, now the next is BO. Okay, so BO is nothing but business object, where combination of multiple BCs we can add under a BO. Okay, now in the Siebel application we might have seen that there is a account screen, there is a contact screen, there is service request screen, like this different screen we can observe. Okay, now question arises is, in under that screen if we will go, there are a lot of BCs available. Okay, so where we can configure, so all those screen we configure in this particular business object. Okay, now let's say I went to account screen and I drill down on the account screen. There, once I land to the form applet, like once I drill down, then it will go to a view where the form applet will be on top, and below there will be lot of tab. Okay, now all these tab are nothing but different BC. Okay, now here it shows only those records which are related to this particular parent BC or this particular account where we have drilled down. Okay, now how this relationship actually get maintained, how we can configure these things, those things we will understand today. Okay, now so we will understand the BO and the relationship between, or the parent child relationship between BCs. Okay, now moving to next slide. Okay, now see, the business object is the combination of BC, so it is having multiple BCs under a single BO. Okay, now each BO contains at least a primary BC, so every BO will definitely have a BC which is primary. Okay, it will be referring to a BC which is primary. Now the BOC, business object component, okay, we call it as BOC, is the child object of BO, where we have to give the BC name and its corresponding and its relationship detail. Okay, so relationship detail means there is a parent BC, there is a child BC. What is the relationship between? So that we can provide as a link. Okay, so we call, in Siebel we have an object called the link, where we can maintain the relationship between parent BC and child BC. Okay, now let's see in the tools. If I go to tools, there is a object called a BO. Okay, like BC we have understood last time in my previous classes. If you will see, there will be BC videos are there. If you not come across, please go through my previous videos, you'll able to figure it out, what is BCs, what is field. So all those things you will able to understand. Okay, now in the BO we have, like, BO is nothing but this is combination of lot of BCs we can keep in a single business object. Okay, now as let's understand the service request BO. So we have a service request BO. Okay, like we have taken an object, and that BO we have taken care. Okay, under service request BO, the primary BC is service request BC. So service request BC, we know that there is a BC called service request BC. For that we have created a BO. Okay, now whichever BO we have taken care, every BO will be having a primary BC. Okay, now under this, if you will go, so this service request BC, the primary one, will be having relationship with all lot of BCs. Okay, account action BC, account BC, like this lot of BCs, it will be having a relationship. Okay, now Okay. Now in this we can see there are a lot of BCs which are available. Okay, and all these BCs are attached to this particular service request BO. Okay, now if we are saying that there is a relationship between two BCs, okay, now this relationship we have to maintain somewhere, because let's, okay, so are there is a service request, let's say, called A. Okay, and in the action BC there is a service request. In there is a action BC where I will be having 10 lakh record. Now out of all those 10 lakh record, which records are attached to this particular service request, so that we can specify in the link. Okay, so that there is a relationship between, because all those 10 lakh record are not attached to this particular service request. For this particular service request, there will be specific some of the records will be get attached. Okay, so how we can identify, or how Siebel can identify and show only those three record or four record? Okay, that we can say it from the link. Okay, now so these are the different BCs we have. So under BOC, like under BO, there will be a BOC, business object component, where we can add our BCs. Okay, and we can refer the link, which link they are maintaining. Okay, so link is another object. If we drill down to this, link is another object. Okay, so it will redirect to link object. So for any BC to BC relationship, we have to specify a link. Okay, now coming to PPT. Yeah, now so the BOC is the child object of a BO, where we have to give the BC name and its relationship detail. Okay, now coming to next slide. Link. Okay, so the next object is link. Now, link is created to maintain the relationship between two different BCs. Okay. Now, link always maintain 1 is to M or M is to M relationship between two BCs. Okay. So, a link can have 1 is to M link or can have M is to M link. Okay. Now, 1 is to M link we also called as parent child relationship. Okay, so if it is a 1 is to M relationship, then we call it as parent child relationship. Okay, now M is to M relationship required a special table. Okay, we will come to this point. Okay, now in that example, one service request can have multiple actions. Okay, so here what kind of relationship it is? It is 1 is to M relationship. There is a one service request under which there will be multiple action created. Okay, so how Siebel will understand that, okay, this all these actions are related to this particular service request? So there should be a way, there should be a like identifier, so that Siebel will identify that, okay, out of all those 10 lakh record, only this four record are attached to this particular service request. Okay, so how that is done? Okay, that we will be figuring out. Okay, now let's understand from the data. Now let's say I have a table called s underscore srv underscore rek. Okay, this is a table where I have the column like row id, then sr number, then status, like this. I am having different different column I am having. Okay, now so these are different column I am having in which table under S underscore SRB are equal table. Okay, now let's say I have row ID as 1 hyphen ABC. Okay, so 1 hyphen ABC, this is a record I am having. Now SR number I am having 1 hyphen 00001. So this is my service request number and status is. Okay, now similarly I am having one more record 1 hyphen BHU. Okay, and I am having the SR number was 1 hyphen 00002 and status is closed. So like this I have lot of records. Okay, close. Okay, now after this I am having one more table called S underscore EVT underscore ACT. This is another table where I am keeping the action data. Action like whichever service request to perform or complete the service request, there are a lot of action we create. Okay, this is one more business entity, and all those data we are keeping in the action BC. Okay, now here let's say I'll be having a column called row ID. Okay, now I will be having a column called action name. Yes, ID status. Okay, so these are different column I am having under action immediate activity. Okay, now let's say I am having a value called 2 hyphen OUI. So this is one row ID. Okay, now the action name is repair phone, something I have. Okay, so this is the action name. What to do, like somebody will do, so he will repair my phone. So this is one action assigned to him. Okay, now SR ID I am having is 1 hyphen ABC. So this is nothing but this is a foreign key. Okay, so this is actually keeping the service request row ID. Okay, now let's say status I am having is in progress. Okay, now let's say I am having one more data called collect phone. Okay, now similarly I am having 1 hyphen ABC, and this is not started, completed. Okay, similarly 2 hyphen EFT, this is net collect money. Okay, whatever repairing done, collect the money from customer. Okay, now this is 1 hyphen BHU. Okay, so like this different record I have. Okay, now how I can identify that these two records are actually belongs to this particular service request? That should be identified. Now what is the identifier? The identifier is this one. Okay, so there should be a column present in the child BC which will be referring the parent records row ID. So this is what we have to specify. Okay, so in the service request and action BC, that is a parent and child relationship. Okay. Now in the child BC, it will be keeping a parent record row ID that should have a column. We call it as foreign key, which will be keeping the parent record row ID. Okay. So now in this case, we can clearly say that okay, these two actions are belongs to the first SR number 001. Okay, so that SR number, these two are actually the action of this particular service request. Now this one is the second action of the service request. So second service request is having only one action, and these two are the first service request are having these two. Okay, so we have identified that in the service request BC there should be a column which will be referring the parent records row ID. Okay, now in this we have to now technically we have understood now how we can specify in the tools label. Okay, so in the tools label what we can do is, okay, so let's go to link. We have drilled down in the link. Okay, so in the link we have to specify the parent BC. Here our parent BC is service request BC. Now we can go to the child BC. Now the child BC is action BC. Okay, so parent BC, child BC we have to specify. Then what we have to, other thing we have to provide, if it is a 1 is to m relationship, then we have to specify the source field and destination field. Okay, so source field belongs to service request BC. Yeah, now if the source field is blank, we can consider it as the ID field. Okay, if anywhere the source field is blank, that means it is the by default value is taking care, and by default value is ID field. Okay, so here the source field is ID field, and in the destination field we have service request SRID, so like activity SRID. So activity SRID is the column foreign key present in this particular table. Okay, so activity SRID. Okay, so this column will be referring the service request row ID. Okay, so in case of 1 is to m relationship, we have to provide four things. One is parent BC, child BC, source field, and destination field. Okay, these four things, let's say we have provided, then our 1 is to m relationship got established. Okay, now let's go to PPT. What it is saying? So in PPT it is saying that 1 is to m relationship we also called as the parent child relationship. Okay, so in the parent child relationship we have to provide two things. One is parent BC, child BC, source field, destination field. These four things once we provided, then the relationship got established, and the only record which are related to this particular service request, that will get pulled and it will show here. Okay, now coming to m is to m relationship. Now what is m is to m relationship, that we have to understand. Okay, now m is to m relationship means the relationship can be established bidirectional. Okay, now what is the relationship can be established bidirectional? What does it mean? Okay, now it is like, if we have seen from the parent, one parent can have multiple child. Okay, and one child can have multiple parent. So in that case we can say it as m is to m relationship. Now let's understand one example. Okay, now let's say I have a table called account. I have a business entity called account, and I have another business entity called apartment. Okay, now here let's say I am entering a value in the apartment account called Susil. Okay, now Susil is a person. Okay, now let's say I am keeping a apartment as BM. This is a apartment. Okay, Now, Sushil Behra is a person and he can have an apartment called BMW. Okay. Now, let's say Sushil Behra is having another apartment. Okay. So, okay. Now, these are two apartments. Single person can have multiple apartment. Okay. Now, let's say Ram. Now, Ram is a person who is staying in same BMM Toyota apartment. Now, here, if we will see a from account perspective, one person can have multiple apartment, and from apartment perspective, one apartment can have multiple account. So in this case, we call it as M is to M relationship. If we will see from the account or parent perspective, it can have multiple child, and if we will see that is from the apartment perspective, if we have in the BMM Florida apartment, then it can have multiple like the apartment. It is not like only one person can stay; multiple persons can stay in that apartment. So multiple account we can keep. Okay. So now in that case, how we can make a relationship? This primary ID like this thing will not helpful. Okay. So for that, what is what how we can establish the relationship? Okay. So in this kind of relationship we called it as M is to M relationship. Okay. So if this was whatever example we have understood in the above, this is 1 is to M relationship. But how we can establish the relationship between M is to M relationship? So in case of M is to M relationship, what we do is we create another table called S underscore, let's say CX underscore ACC underscore ACT. Okay. So now this is another table. Okay. Yeah. So in case of M is to M, what we introduce is we introduce one more table called intersection table. Okay. So this is used when we have a relationship of M is to M. Okay. Now what we maintain here, okay, in this table, what we do is we can give row ID, okay, then we can give account ID, okay, then we can give apartment ID. Okay. Now this is a table where we have three different column we have. Where okay, let's for Sushil Behra I am having a row ideas 1 hyphen WER, and for apartment I am having row ideas 2 hyphen OPT. Okay. So similarly here also I'll be having 1 hyphen WER, and here I'll be having 2 hyphen OPT. Sorry, TLF will be 2 hyphen YTR. Okay. Now for RAM I'll be having 1 hyphen WQA. Okay, these are different row ID I'm saying. Okay. It will be 2 hyphen OPT. Okay. So so this row ID is referring to BMM Florida, and this row ID belongs to DLF. Similarly, this row ID belongs to account ID, and this row ID belongs to like Sushil, and this row ID belongs to Ram. Now, in this table, what we will do is we will create a record. Okay, let's say 3 hyphen DCF. Okay, and in the account ID I will be entering as 1 hyphen WER, one record. Okay, and apartment I can have 2 hyphen OPT. this is one record. So I can say that Sushil Behra is having an apartment called BM Glorita. Okay. Now similarly I can enter one more record 2 hyphen BGT, and here I can another entry we can do is 1 hyphen WR and 2 hyphen DYR. So DYR stands for DLF. So it means Sushil Behra is having two apartments. Okay. So this is one way. Now another entry I can give is 3 hyphen YUT. Okay. Where I can give 1 hyphen WQA. Now WQA stands for RAM. Okay. Now RAM is having staying in same apartment of BM Glorita, so it will be 2 hyphen OPT. Okay, so from this table, intersection table, we can identify that which parent are belongs to which are having which apartment, and similarly which apartment are having which account. Okay, so that's why in case of M is to M, we introduce one more table called intersection table, where we keep the interparent column, interchild column. Okay, now let's go to link, sorry, go to PPT. So M is to M relationship requires a special table which we call it as intersection table. For M is to M, we store the value in the interparent column and interchild column. Okay, so this is M is to M. Okay, now coming to the properties of a link. Okay, so in the link property, so these are the properties. We have to enter parent BC, child BC. If it is M is to M relationship, then we have to insert in intersection table, the table name we have to provide. Now inter parent column, which column should be referred as parent column and which column should be referred as child column. So inter parent column, inter child column. Now for 1 is to M, we have source field, destination field. So if it is 1 is to M, then parent BC, child BC, source field, destination field. If it is the M is to M, then in M, parent BC, child BC, intersection table, interparent column, interchild column. Now there is one more property we have, that is called cascade delete. Now what is this cascade delete? Okay, so it has three different values. So cascade delete is the property where if I have 1 is to M relationship, in that case, if we delete the parent record, what will happen to child record, that we have specified here. Okay, if we delete the parent record and the cascade delete is having value as delete, then what it will do is whenever the parent record got deleted, the child record will get deleted. So that's why whenever the parent record we delete, Siebel take care the child record and it deletes those child record. Okay, so if the from the link we can specify that if the cascade delete is delete, then parent record got deleted, simultaneously the child record will also get deleted. Now if it is clear, then what it will happen is the child record will not get deleted, but the reference of the parent record, like where we are keeping the reference of parent row ID, that column will get nullified. Okay, now let's see our example. In this case, let's say I have deleted this particular record and I am keeping the cascade delete as a clear, then what it will happen is this column will get nullified. Okay, so this column will get blank, no other change, like child record will not get deleted, only this column will get nullified, that is clear. Okay, now if it is none means if it is none, then no change will happen. Though parent record got deleted, in child record there will be no change, neither it will get nullified nor it will get deleted. Okay, so these are the three things in the cascade delete. Okay, so for today we have this much. Okay, so we are keeping this much for today, then we'll understand the other higher object. Okay, so we have completed the BC business logic layer. Now we'll move to different layer. Okay, yeah, thank you, thanks a lot.